Donkey Kong Bananza actually got DLC. When I saw this in the direct, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. DK Island?
DLC is
DK Isle.
pushing its way into Donkey Kong Bananza.
What? You could say I was a little bit excited. Donkey Kong Bananza has been my favorite game that I've played this year, so far. I really feel like this game was made for me. Like, easy 10 out of 10 from my standards. I loved the platforming, the movement was amazing. I love collectibles. It surprised and delighted me all the way till the very end. And I even wanted to 100% it. I think I got it done in about a week. I couldn't get enough of this game. And then once I hit that 1,000 banana count, I put it down and I didn't pick it back up. I wanted a reason to, but there was nothing left to do. I'd collected everything I could. So I would just put it away for a while until my next playthrough would come up several months later. But pretty much out of nowhere, to me at least, they dropped DLC. A new layer to explore, which is DK Island. And I'm a big Donkey Kong fan, so anything DK Island related, I was gonna eat up. And a whole new mode, Emerald Rush, which seemed to take Donkey Kong Bananza's gameplay and turn it into a roguelike. That's exactly what I had wanted. Something to get me a reason to play this game again and to keep playing it. And I have played it now. And I wish we had something else. Now, when I was watching the trailer, I was so excited that I totally didn't even realize that it was paid DLC. I think I was freaking out and I couldn't hear them say paid DLC. Today?
And Emerald Rush paid DLC launches on Nintendo
Oh.
Switch 2 later today.
I'm pulling this up right now.
Plus,
So getting to the eShop and seeing it's actually $20, it's not just an update, made me a little apprehensive, but it's Donkey Kong. This was my favorite game this year. I had to buy it. I wanted more to play. And I kind of regret doing that. I've already completed the game, so I was able to just go straight to DK Island. But if you're playing through the game, when you get to the racing layer, you can talk to Squawks and he'll take you to DK Island. So you can access it up to that point. And then once you beat the game, then you'll be able to do the Emerald Rush. There's really two separate portions to this DLC. So let's talk about them one at a time. DK Island, the first portion, is kind of a reimagining of the places on Donkey Kong's home island, DK Island, with homages to all sorts of the games. Off the coast of the island, there's the DK Bongos. Walk into Donkey Kong's house and see that he has a picture of Candy Kong, even the tire outside of his house, just like it was before. You have minecarts that you can ride on, a super secret, super secure banana horde that no one would ever steal bananas from. And all of our friends are here. Cranky Kong, Dixie Kong, Diddy Kong, Rambi, and even Squawks. Actually, a lot of Squawks are hanging out on this island. This sounds like the perfect DLC, right? There's nothing to do here. I explored for like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and I felt like I saw everything there was to see. There's no Banandium gems, there's no fossils. It's just a little playground, but really not much to do. Oh, actually, that's a lie. Sorry. You can pay Constructones to build zip lines. If you talk to Cranky Kong, he'll tell you specifically that there's 6 bonus rooms hidden around the island. Hidden. And he mentions that there's Banandium roots that have sprung up. And he calls this island a great place. Well, let me pull up what he says. And if you talk to Cranky Kong, he says, in other words, this island is suddenly a perfect place to load up on gold, if you like taking the easy way out. So it's basically just an island where you can farm gold. I have some issues with this. Being locked behind a $20 paywall, and then this is the place where it's easy to go get gold. You can even talk to Squawks and trade Banandium chips for gold. What? Now, if you've played Donkey Kong Bananza to full 100% completion, you have to pay Grumpy Kong a lot of gold to build a giant gold statue of DK. It's pretty cool. I did it because I wanted to play everything that this game had to offer, and it took a long time to grind for that gold. I'm totally okay for a different way of getting all that gold. I'm not the kind of person that's going to be like, well, I did it the hard way, everyone else has to do it the hard way, right? But now the easy way that Cranky Kong says is pay $20. And I feel like that's just a little scummy. I don't really like that idea. So even Cranky Kong is saying this is the easy way out. Pay real world money and get in-game gold. Doesn't that sound like something we see in gaming quite often? Anyway, back to the island. It actually is really cool to run around and see the place, and the music The music slaps. The music is actually really good. I really like that overworld theme that we have here. Even the interactions you have with Pauline the first time you walk into the house, where she's like, oh my goodness, DK, is this your house?
This is your house, DK? Give me the tour. Wow, look at all this cool stuff.
That was awesome. I thought that was so cool. And then when I realized that just off the coast, you actually start right on the ship where you would fight King K. Rool in the Donkey Kong Country games. And if you look at the very back of the ship, you'll even see like the goal from Donkey Kong Country 2, where either Diddy or Dixie would have to land on, and that would be the end of the level. Just little touches like that really show, just like how it was throughout the rest of the game, that the people making this game really do care about Donkey Kong. They like the history of it, and they want to give the fans a good experience with the game. So for that, I do love being able to go around the island, but I've seen it, and I don't have a reason to go back and see it again. I've already completed the game. I don't need more gold, which is apparently what this island is for. And that leads us to the second half of this DLC, the Emerald Rush. Emerald Rush is a really cool idea. I think this is perfect. Like, this setup is perfect for Donkey Kong Bonanza. The Emerald Rush is like a Donkey Kong roguelike. Basically, you have different rounds, different waves, and you have to get enough emeralds, which is just a recolor of the gold. It's the same thing. I like the in-world explanation for it. They say the Banandium gold, it's yellow, and the unripened form is the emeralds because it's green. Like, unripe bananas are green. I thought that was pretty clever. That's a good way to do that. And Void Kong is obsessed with it, and he enlists you to work to get the emeralds. Also, Pauline's a little too eager to try this new adventure after her kidnapper is setting them up for this. I don't know. I thought that was a little weird. Each round is 100 seconds, and you have to collect enough gold to meet a threshold. And then it brings you to the second round where you have to get even more gold. Now your abilities are stripped away. You lose your skill points, and you have to use emerald banandium chips. All of this currency is all completely separate. It doesn't transfer to the main game. It's just for this mode, just these rounds. You have to use the emerald banandium chips basically to buy the skills, which I think is a cool idea. It makes me remember actually how little I could do at the very beginning of the game compared to the end where you have everything unlocked. And as difficulties go higher up, you actually can lose your Bonanza powers, and you have to get those as well, which I think is definitely more fun that way. They throw fossils and Banandium gems, or I guess emerald gems, all across the map for you to gather. And Void Kong also has challenges where he'll say that you need to go to a specific part of the map and break open an ore, a chunk of ore, or go to a specific section and kill these group of enemies that he spawned in. It's great. It's a really good idea, but there are some really big issues that make this not very fun, just tedious. First off, the rounds being 100 seconds is just entirely too long. I feel like this is supposed to be a quick mode where you go in and you run through these things, but I end up having so much time left over, and you can collect more emeralds for the next round, that it just ends up not being really worth it. I can get enough emeralds pretty much in the first couple rounds for the next few. And that's the other thing with the difficulty. It scales, so you have different difficulty levels, which add more rounds to it. It adds a multiplier to the goal that you have. But so far, it's not been a problem at all. I've ended up finishing all the rounds with way more emeralds than I even needed. I even just started taking my time walking around and finding the power-ups that I wanted, just because I already had all the emeralds I needed, so might as well just walk around and try and get the power-ups, I guess. You also can punch fossils, or when you get emerald banandium gems, it gives you perk abilities, which are just like finding more treasure chests around when you break terrain, getting more gold from the banandium roots. Basically anything that you would normally find in a roguelike that would just barely tweak the experience but make you feel more powerful over time, you're able to get those. It ends up just being a big stack on the right hand of your screen. I didn't really notice a difference for any of them, but every time that you do get a fossil or you do get an emerald banandium gem, it pops up a menu, pauses the timer, and then you need to select which one. Starting off, I wasn't as familiar with them, so it took me a long time to read them and then pick which one I wanted. That makes the long 100 seconds feel so much longer. I played a 5-round one at the beginning, and it felt like it took forever. By round 3, I was ready for it to be over. It's such a good concept, but in execution, it's there's not really a lot to go off of. And after you beat it on DK Island, you end up unlocking more locations to do the Emerald Rush in, and those have like higher terrain strength and a higher difficulty, it says. I have yet to find something that really feels like it is a challenge. And the rewards you get for completing more of the Emerald Rush things are like alternate costumes for Pauline and Donkey Kong. And now when you talk to Squawks, you can trade 100 Banandium chips to get a statue placed onto the island. I have no clue how many statues there are total, but it seems like there's quite a few. And if you've played the game to get all 1,000 bananas, you know that it's a grind to get all those Banandium chips. And now adding on thousands more, I can imagine. I'm all about getting new costumes for Donkey Kong and Pauline. I think that's super cool, but it's pretty clear that the $20 isn't for new costumes, it's for being able to play this new mode. And so far from what I've played from it, there's just not a lot that's gonna keep me coming back. See, I say that, but I 100%ed the main game, so I'm gonna end up 100%ing the DLC. It's just not gonna be probably as fun as it was for the main game. And the main game even was a little bit of a grind at the end. Now, all this being said, I may still get further into it, and then it does become really challenging, and it becomes something difficult, but I have yet to experience that. This was such a cool idea, and it's something that I really would love to have added on, but at the cost of $20? That's a little bit much. I know this game has been compared to Mario Odyssey a lot, and for good reason. It's by the same team, it has a lot of the same feel. And I can't help but feel something similar from Mario Odyssey. When you beat the main game of Mario Odyssey, you're then put into the Mushroom Kingdom. You get to explore Mario's home. You get to walk around Princess Peach's castle. There's more moons to find there, lots of secrets and cool things to do while you're there. But mostly there's things to find. If it was empty, it would still be fun, just like this is. But there was things to do. There was a reason to be traveling and finding every nook and cranny of this place. In Mario Odyssey, you also had to grind a lot for some of those costumes, especially the ones that got added after launch. And to help with that, Nintendo put a new mode in that game. Luigi's Balloon World. You know, like the hide and seek, but like popping a balloon. I loved that. I had a really good time playing that. It was just a fun little mode that they added, but it helped me grind to get more coins. The same way it looks like Emerald Rush is a way to help you grind and get more golden Banandium chips. Now I know the Donkey Kong Bananza, the Emerald Rush, there's definitely more to that mode. It's more full, there's more mechanics to it, but I can't help but see the similarities and notice that the Mushroom Kingdom was part of the main game, but Luigi's Balloon World was added in post as a free update. So we've seen that the developers already did something like that. And now to see that they're doing it again, but this time putting it behind a paywall, that just feels kind of dirty. I love Donkey Kong Bananza, and I loved it enough to complete it 100% when it's definitely not needed. And I'll probably still complete this DLC now that I have it, but I kind of wish I didn't. There's even more to add on to the completion now. Overall, I don't know that I would recommend this to really anyone, unless you're someone who just wants to be in the world of Donkey Kong Bananza a little bit more. But what I've played so far of this hasn't really been fulfilling. I would rather take that $20 and put it towards half of one of the Mario Galaxy amiibo. Holy cow, it's so expensive to be a Nintendo fan. And I want to be a Nintendo fan. I want to be on their side. I want to buy all the games that they put out for me, but I just don't know if I can justify it at this point. But let me know what you think about the new Donkey Kong DLC. Are you having a good time with it? Do I need to just stick with it a little bit longer? I think I will eventually, but it's definitely way lower on my priority list than I thought it would be. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate your support. If you like this video, if you found this interesting, if I saved you $20, consider giving it a like and subscribing, because we're gonna have a lot more content coming up on Nintendo Switch 2 games and just gaming in general. You can also catch me over on Twitch. I'm live every Monday and Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Time. I'm usually playing Mario Maker, so come by, say hi, drop a viewer level if you have one. But thank you so much for watching again, and I'll see you next time.